Hello and welcome back to my channel. Today I have something very special planned for you. We're in Branson, Missouri, and we're going to be going on the most epic adventure. We're going to be going and finding some dinosaurs. I bet you never knew there were dinosaurs in Branson, Missouri, but there are. Okay guys, as soon as we move in here, we have a dino whiz quiz. Now, do we want to do a dino whiz quiz? Sure. Are our hands available to do so? Probably not. But if you do want to pick up a dino whiz quiz, they do have some pencils right here, and this is what the quiz looks like. They have all sorts of fun things that you can find while in here. Now, a benefit to doing the whiz quiz itself is if you find all of the little trackable things that they have hidden in here, you actually get additional discounts inside for all of your gifting items. So that's really great, especially if you have a little one who needs a little something extra to do. That is the perfect thing to do. I personally have Where's Waldo eyes, so I'm going to be looking for them even if I'm not writing them down today. Let's see how many we can find. Now, before we start moving into the museum, just a couple things. Admission was about $10 today for me, and that gives me 3 days of access. So I can come back anytime within 3 days and be able to explore more. So if I was to have missed something or shooting something for you guys today, if I missed it and needed to come back and redo it, we could come back for 3 days. $10, 3 days. And you know what's next, guys. Of course I was gonna do it. I love dinosaurs. Now, as we move around, we're gonna see a little plaque like this for each one of the dinosaurs. It's gonna tell us a little bit more about it, as well as how we're supposed to say it. Dinosaurs are always a fun one to try to pronounce. Brachylophosaurus. Brachylophosaurus. Sure. So that's like a breaking off a lophosaurus. Yeah, that's what we're gonna call it. And this is what he looks like. Just so you guys know, this thing is tall. He's like really tall. He's probably 15 feet tall. Here we have a saber-tooth cat. And they've been extinct for about 11,000 years. But can you imagine what would happen if one of these bad boys came back? Look at those teeth. Wow. I would say that those teeth are longer than even a lion's tooth. And reading the sign, it says that the saber-toothed tiger didn't even have to use both jaws to kill. He would just, that was it. Like, he was more fierce than a lion. This handsome tall guy is the iguanodon. And as you can see, another big guy. Look at this. Look at this. He's standing on this box, which makes him about 4 feet taller than he is. But he goes almost all the way up to the ceiling. This one was only about 7 feet long, but he weighed about 120 pounds. So he stands up the size of like a small child tall, but then he has that tail. But then he weighs about as much as an average smaller woman. And while we're in this room talking about this epic adventure that we're on, just wanted to share with you guys this hat that my friend Rob sent me. Isn't this awesome? This is the perfect adventure hat. The Most Epic Adventures. That's actually his channel and his brand, so go check him out. I feel like this is definitely one of those epic adventures. Now, what's interesting to me about this guy right here is he kind of looks like a Triceratops. Just a little bit, not completely. But actually, he has no horns. But if you'll notice, he still has this little shield on the top of him that protects him whenever he has to throw down against other dinosaurs. And this is his actual name, the Protoceratops andrewsi. Okay, so he is a ceratops version. I wonder if that just means the structure of the head. Now this is why the signs are important. By looking at the sign that is attached to Mr. Protoceratops here, we find out that he is actually an earlier ancestor of the Triceratops, as well as several other dinosaurs. They would have found this particular dinosaur in areas that are now known as like Mongolia. So that's kind of a cool fact. Descendants. Of course, we're all familiar with these guys. If you've ever seen Jurassic Park, these little Velociraptors, yeah, they're basically like little lizard terrorists. And again, reading the sign, it says that a Velociraptor was only about 33 pounds, but could be 6 feet in length. So, light on their feet, dangerous with that bite. No ma'am Pam, no thank you on these. Look at these talon claws. Oh, and looky there. This is one of the things that you're trying to find on the scavenger hunt. Now, for the sake of you guys at home finding these whenever you come to visit, I'm not going to reveal where I just found that. Just know that that's what they look like, and I found it. Ha ha ha. I nearly completely passed by this guy. He is the size of a modern chicken. And he was hanging out in the darkness over here. Now that little guy actually is considered to be the oldest bird, and remains of him have been found in Bavaria and Germany. And he only was about this big, guys. Little bitty guy from about 150 million years ago. Wow, that is one old bird. Following the dinosaur tour. Wow, who is this? This looks to be somebody who is large and in charge. Now, something that's kind of fascinating to me is this mouth. This mouth almost has like a beak-like texture to it. That's kind of crazy. But also, notice it has a horn. Most of the time, we only think of the horns to defend themselves. But it also says here with a lot of the plant eaters, like this guy, that these horns were actually a part of how that they would be able to get their food too. They would use them as a tool to break apart things and pull things down. And then kind of just an idea of how big this foot here is. Here is my hand. Yeah, my hand is like the size of a toe. Okay, say it with me, guys. Stegosaurus. Stegosaurus. Much smaller than the other dinosaur we just looked at. He would only weigh between 15 and 30 pounds. This guy just looks cute. How cute is he? Okay guys, it's time to move into the next room. I never realized there were so many smaller dinosaurs. Most of the places that I've been to always show you the big guys, but they don't show you the small ones. And I think that that's really fascinating, because most of the time when we think of like Jurassic Park, we also think about the big guys. They didn't show us a large variety of smaller dinosaurs, and even some of them I don't think were true to scale and size. So seeing all of these is mind-blowing. This little guy, in length he could be about 5 feet. However, he would only get to about 30 pounds. And he was actually found in Arizona. And if I were to see his name, I would say he is a Stegosaurus, but it says here he's a Stegosaurus. See, this is why the pronunciation thing is important. Now, does that mean I'm going to remember this dinosaur or these dinosaurs in the future with their names? No, but if I were to see it again, it might click in that I'm saying it wrong. Some things are not as they appear. Now, when you guys see these right here, what do you think? What comes to mind immediately? Well, something that wouldn't have come to my mind is the fact that these are actually some of the oldest dinosaurs. These are the Eoraptors, and they're tiny, but at one point they made up about 5% of all land animals. Now these guys were actually known to be the smallest non-avian dinosaurs. They were only about 5 pounds. So the size of some people's pet chihuahua. This guy lurking in the darkness back here is another one of the smallest known non-avians. And it's kind of interesting because he looks almost like he has flaps. And I don't know, it's like an evolution of a dinosaur and potentially a bird, but he's not a bird. Kind of like whenever you lose weight, but you still have skin. That's what he looks like. Did you know that we didn't really know what color dinosaurs were? And so a lot of the dinosaurs that we see on display in present day are just an assumption by scientists as to what they might have looked like. This guy just looks fast. I mean, look at that aerodynamic face. And he's kind of tall, has a long neck. And then look at those feet, just on the run. Go, go, go. I don't believe I've ever seen hands like these. That is so, so weird, guys. Now, ironically, those weird hands belong to this really tall guy up here. According to what I was just reading, this is one of the most misunderstood dinosaurs that are out there because they don't really know what exactly he ate or how exactly he thrived, because his hands were like this, but his neck was real tall, and so he's kind of a big question mark to scientists even to this day. And I can see why. He's a strange looking character. Much less misunderstood, the Stegosaurus. We all know good old Steggy. And there's lots of information about Steggy here. So definitely encourage you to read some of that. But yeah, Stegosaurus there. This one right here is really, really interesting. It says here it got its name as egg robber, basically, Oviary raptor, by being found trying to loot a nest. So that is exactly how it got its name. But as you can see here by the head, he also kind of looks like a bird, making him another kind of mystery. Very fascinating though to read about him getting a whole name just by being discovered looking like he was looting. I wonder what they'll say about us when they discover us later on. I wonder. Look at how big this guy is though. He towers over everything else in this room with those big teeth. Yep, there's no question. You ate meat. And a lot of it probably. Nowadays we have what's considered to be a modern beaver. This is a skull of a modern beaver. As you can see, it's not very big, but those teeth though. But look in contrast, that left-hand side is what I just showed you, and this is what was considered to be a giant beaver. These are now extinct. I would not have ever wanted to have run into this beaver right here because his teeth are just about as long as those saber-tooth tiger teeth. Now, it says that the giant beaver was one of many animals who did not make it through the last ice age, and that typically the larger animals didn't fare as well as the smaller ones, and that's why we have modern day ancestors of old-time dinosaurs. Alligators, crocodiles, etc., etc. And so the giant guy just couldn't make it. But now we have the little ones. And we're off to the next haul of dinosaurs. Just know, we found another one. We found another one. The room at the very back of this museum is epic. I don't know if the video is going to project the size to you at home, but it is literally the entire back room of the building in width. Wow. So this is what we're looking at right here. Wow. This gem behind me, they found parts of in Kansas, and he gets to be about 2,000 pounds. 2,000 pounds. I don't want to be messing with anything that can swim that's 2,000 pounds. Now, it says on the sign that they're not really sure exactly how it swam. They just know that it could swim, and it was the most dangerous predator in the water because of the defenses that it has. Nothing could really get it because of those spikes. And then it had more teeth than anything else that they'd found. It just looks creepy, guys. In addition, they think that it might have moved similar to how penguins move because of its flippers. So maybe, just maybe, this was like a very, very angry penguin. Of course, we all know our favorite dinosaur. This is T-Rex. The guy with all the big teeth and the shortest arms in the jungle. Yep, those little tiny arms right there. I just often wonder what even was the point of having the arms. Because they have claws, so maybe he could do something with them. Now, some fascinating facts about Mr. T-Rex here. It says that he could run up to 45 miles per hour, and that his body design is actually not all so different from the way that an ostrich is designed, so that it can achieve maximum speed in minimum time. So that's kind of a cool fact that I've never heard before. And then this right here debunks most everything I've ever heard about T-Rex. For the longest time, we've all been told that T-Rex just had the smallest brain known to man, and he was just not very smart. But they actually performed a study, and the study is listed right here, where they were able to go back in and do an additional CAT scan and realize that his brain was not all contained in the brain cavity area. So he was actually probably a lot smarter than we've put on all this time. So he wasn't just angry because he was dumb, guys. He actually could logically think and knew what he was doing. Which makes this guy even scarier than he was before. Jurassic Park made him pretty scary. Do 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 do. But now knowing that the entire time he could use logical thinking is so terrifying. Now say this one with me, guys. Platycarpus. He is another creepy water dinosaur. He could measure up to 25 feet in length and on average weighed between 1 and 2 tons. Now again, these were found in Kansas and Mississippi, which just goes to show that the world is a lot different than it used to be. Now these guys would swim through the water, and they would use that tail, which is a little bit more flat, as kind of like a propeller fin. Now, while they did average 25 feet, they did find one that was 55 feet, which is scarily huge. And on top of that, through the research and the development that they've been able to do with finding out more about this guy, they say that he more closely resembles a monitor lizard than a crocodile or an alligator. So a monitor lizard is not one to mess with. No. And this guy probably was not one to mess with either. He has like a fin going down his back, not those spikes like the other one. But those teeth still look kind of menacing. Now remember, guys, the reason we have information about the dinosaurs that we're seeing today and on other stops that we've made is because people have found their remains in random places. Then they were able to put them back together, kind of find out what they might have looked like, and then put together the science behind what they might have eaten, where they might have lived, how they migrated. You know, things like that. So it's really cool to come in here and get to see the three-dimensional look of the dinosaur that hasn't lived for millions of years. It's so fun. Now, typically when you come to visit, there is a theater that shows a documentary. However, right now it's not available. So whenever you come, you can always call in advance to see if it is available, or whenever you're visiting, just ask. That's the best way to do it. There are some things in the world right now that are a little bit different, like the masks. But just because they're different doesn't mean that the places that we're going to are not amazing to go to, as you can see. Lots of cool stuff here, even without the documentary. Now, just before we return to the gift shop, we go through this hall where they actually have coloring walls, and they're broken down into age groups. So you can come here and see the kiddos who have colored their favorite dinosaurs. Tells you how old they are and where they're from, and all of these little cute dinosaurs along the wall are so fun to look at. Look guys, this section right here actually is the 10 to 99 section, which means that I too could have had a creation on the wall. That is awesome. I hope you have enjoyed coming with me today to the Branson Dinosaur Museum right here off of the Strip. If you have, please make sure that you like this video, hit subscribe, and then I'll see you guys on another adventure on another day. Bye guys!